Very good morning to one all present in this video, who is watching the video. And this is unit number 5 in the principles of management, which is controlling. Controlling. And this is a controlling process. Let us see what is controlling and controlling the process. So the purpose of so let us see the purpose of the control. Purpose of control. What is some of the purpose of this control? So adapt to the environmental changes, limit the accumulation of error. Control helps the organization cope with the organization complexity and minimize the cost. So here the control is nothing but it has to eliminate the errors and also the effective utilization of all the things in the control, and also minimization of the cost. And these are all the things has to be taken place in the purpose of this controlling. And levels of control. So which is an operational control level. The focus on the progress used in the transform resource into the products of service. Financial control and structural control. So financial control is concerned with the financial resources, and structural control, how the element of structure or serving intended purposes. Strategic control, how effective or the functional strategic helps the organization meet its goal. So this is the level of control. Strategic, central, operational, and financial control. So this is something but talking staffing and control. I mean, sorry, not staffing, which is in the levels of controlling. So who is the responsible for the controlling? So the rest of all managers, large corporation of controllers. What does controllers do? Helps to line the managers in their control activities. Process of controlling. So establishing the standards, measure performance, compare the performance against the standards, and determine the need of corrective actions. So in this, the maintenance status and corrective deviation and changes standards. So establishing the standards. So the company has got on our own standards that has to be established by the company and that has to be kept. So measuring performance. So how does it has to be measured? What are the parameters to be taken class has been done in this control process. Comparing the performance against. So what is the performance is done by the employee or the product or whatever it is, which has to be compared with the standards that has been kept already with the company, and that is nothing but of comparing your performance. Determine need for corrective actions. So what is the flops in the flops or something has to be identified in this process, and that has to be taken as the corrective actions in terms of maintenance, corrective deviations, and correction standards, whatever the problem which is takes place in this, and that has to be correctively identified, and that has to be correctively taken process. That is nothing but of a control process. So this is the steps which is involved. You can see, and the maintenance, corrective, deviation, changes in standards. If needed, the corrective actions can be taken in these three parts. Establishing the standards. So measurable or tangible. Standards can be measured by expressed in the quantitative. It's called measurable standards, and quantitatively cannot be measured quantitatively. For example, performance of the manager, deviation, the workers that cannot be. These are all the non-measurables. So cost, output, expenditure that can be as an measurable. This is the establishing of standards. Measuring of actual performance. So measuring of actual performance is top deviation or variance that between the real occurrence and the most deviation. So what we have done and what that has to be achieved, that has can be measured in this performance. Well, comparing. So let us compare the actual and what is done. It can be compared. So it may be having a major deviation or a minor deviation that has to be identified. Acceptable range of deviation. Type of control. So input, progress, and output. So input, which is feed forward control, and concurrent control, which is problem as they happened, feedback control, correcting problem after the occurs. So this is the output after the occurs in the progress and before starting. Budgetary control. The establishment of budgets relating the responsibility, executing, and requirements of a policy. Salient features, objectives, determining the objective activity, determining the variety of activity plans, drawing upon a plans, performance evaluation, laying out the system of the comparison of actual performance, control action, ensuring that when the plan are not achieved, correctively action taken. This is all salient features of our budgetary control. Classification of budgets. So budget has got a lot of things. So based on the budgets only, the controlling can be done very easily. And the budget is classified in various forms: time, condition, and capacity and coverage. So in time, long term and short term, basic budget and current budget and conditions, capacity, fixed and flexible, coverage, functional budget, and master budget. So these are the classification of some of the budgets. So let us know what is long-term budget. Prepared for a long-term period, longer than a year. That is called, we can call it as an R&D budget. And short-term, less than a year, a cash budget is a short-term budget. Basic budget remains unaltered. So this is basic budget that cannot be changed at any cost. This is for the mandatory budget, we may say like that. And the current budget relating to the current conditions. Fixed budget remains unchanged. So that cannot be changed because the sum of the big fixed values will be in the budget. For example, the daily expense for a company or needs, and that all of the fixed that cannot be changed in any kind of projects, that is remaining of unchanged. Flexible budget. The various budget of different level of activities. Functional budget, individual functions in an organization. Profit loss account is the master budget. What is the income and what is the outcome? What was the profit withstand by the company is taken as a master budget. Budgetary control techniques. So in this budgetary control, so what are all the techniques we have? Revenue and expenditure budgets. So budgets spell out plans of revenues of operation of express in terms of rupees, time, space, material, product budgets, capital expenditure budgets, cash budgets, variable budgets, zero budget, non-budgetary. So we have seen the budgetary now you can see the non-budgetary. Many traditional control device not connected with the budgets, although some related use with of budgetary control is nothing but of non-budgetary controls. Statical data. So budgetary analyzing the numerical data and the special data is presented in the form of tablets and charts and graphs. The special report analysis. Special report analysis is designed for development of the purpose of controlling the situation. Operational audit. So external audit and external audit, this has to be done. So for this is non-budgetary for each and every time of this thing progress is going on. Personal observation. 1 hour over the important control them the personal observation also is very important in non-budgetary. So we know Gantt chart and per chart that has to be find optimistic, pessimistic, and probable time. And bar chart illustrate the project scheduled on what long which was going that can be monitored. So once the project is monitoring in PERT and Gantt, let me know that let all this people can know that what is the status of the project. Is it is in a profit or loss, and there is any struggles, and there's nothing to be directed or enhanced that can be identified. And we can identify the optimistic time, pessimistic time, and probable time of a project. Milestones. A big project is divided into small manageable project, and each project a plan to develop, and the plan of variable projects is linked to network supporting plans. And the last is reporting. So reporting is very important. The progress of providing information of the management is known as management reporting. Proper form, content, promptness, and accuracy. So this is the reporting. We may have a daily report, weekly report, monthly report, or yearly report. So this is all the reporting which covers the whole thing of projects or single individuals to be converted into the whole. The classification of reporting: oral, written, external, internal. So you do think these are all the reports based on the situation, what is the need. For example, oral, if anything has to be passed, it can be done with oral or written. Written can be given for all kind of people, external, internal, that has been done internally and externally for any kind of works. IT in management controls. So this is Decision making for various functional areas, business, resource MIS, that is management information system, hardware, software, data, and people. This is the four things that has been required. Internal factors, that is resources, planning, operational, and production. External factors, political governance, economic condition, and technology. Implementation of IMIS. So input, information store, data retrieval, analysis, output, and the decision making for it and action. So let us give some input and the storage and retrieval of data and analysis of the data and output will be given. So based on which that output, we can take some decision and the action is needed or not. Important device of information systems, speech recognition system, networks, application of MIS. It is in marketing, manufacturing, and also finance. And thank you one and all for this viewing opportunity and watching my video. And once again, I thank all.